Tonight's broadcast is made possible by Strack & Van Til, your favorite Indiana-made grocery store. Crowell Insurance Company, the insurance superheroes. Ironworkers Local 395, proud to be union. Four Seasons Mechanical, quality and comfort is our guarantee. Boilermakers Local 374, earn while you learn. Pulse Technology, leading the way in technological innovation for over 70 years. Visit Michigan City LaPorte, closer than you think, better than you imagine. IBEW Local 697, proud to support high school sports. Bricklayers Local 4, the best hands in the business. Economy Electric Heating and Cooling, keeping you cool in the summer and cozy in the winter. Blythe's Team Sports, where the athlete shops. And Hampton Inn, downtown Indianapolis. This is the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us, and welcome to Softball Night in the Region on the Region Sports Network. We come to you tonight from Cynthia Field at Crown Point High School as the Region Sports Network presents live coverage of Indiana high school softball as the visiting Illiana Christian Vikings take on the host Crown Point Bulldogs. I'm Leo Staudaher, and I'll have the play-by-play for tonight's action as it is the final game of the regular season here in Crown Point. The Bulldogs and Vikings will look for one last tune-up before they begin the state tournament, so let's set the stage. We will take a look at the batting orders as those are presented by Great Lakes Sports Hub, where athletes train harder, recover smarter, and compete at their best. Elevate your game at the Hub. First, for the visiting Illiana Christian Vikings from head coach Mark Porter. They enter with a record of 16-7, 9-1 against the Greater South Shore Conference. They are 7-3 on the road. They have won their last game against Calumet New Tech yesterday. They will be led off by their center fielder, Lauren Crakes. Olivia Dalligs plays second base, bats second. Lauren Mish bats third, plays left field. Emmy Jansma plays short, bats in the cleanup spot. Maya Vanderwood will be batting fifth while playing third base. Cheyenne Colvin will be behind the plate, batting sixth. Sophia Dunnett plays right field, bats seventh. Brooklyn Dirks will be the designated player. She bats eighth. And Talia Bornson will round out the 1 through 9. Bornson will be playing first base. And now the opposing lineup from the Crown Point Bulldogs from head coach Angie Richwalski. The Bulldogs 21-5-1 on the season, 11-2 in Duneland play. They are 11-1 here at Cynthia Field. Their lineup will be as follows. Scarlett Tegman patrols center field, leads off. Lulu Johnson follows her, batting second, playing short. Ashlyn Kita bats third, plays third. Evie Cuevas will be the DP. She bats in the cleanup spot. Anna Neal will be playing left field while batting fifth. Elle Chisholm is behind the plate. She bats sixth. Stella Dauphin plays first, bats seventh. Eva Govert plays second base, bats eighth. Ella Slavena rounds out the 1 through 9 while playing right field. Those are the batting orders. Now let's take a look at the starting pitchers for today's game. That means we'll turn to the Ennigan-Berg Exteriors Home Improvement Hurlers for today, presented by Ennigan-Berg Exteriors. For the home team, Crown Point will send Emily Beeson to the circle. She is a sophomore with a 2-2 record of the year, a 4.24 ERA over 11 appearances on the season. She has logged 34 2/3 innings with 46 hits scattered throughout those, allowing 27 runs, 21 of which have been earned. She has walked just 12 batters while striking out 33. The Vikings will counter with Grace Shearinga. She is 13-4 on the season. Shearinga, the freshman right-hander, has a 3.03 ERA. She's appeared in 20 games with 106 1/3 innings pitched, 89 hits against. She has allowed 67 runs, with 46 of those being earned. She has walked 71 batters while striking out 97. Those are your Ennigan-Berg Exteriors Home Improvement Hurlers for today's game. Ennigan-Berg Exteriors, a premier provider of roofing and siding services with over 40 years of experience. Check them out on the web at ebergexteriors.com. We will step aside, and when we come back, we will have more pregame coverage leading up to first pitch between the Vikings and the Bulldogs. That's coming up next, so stick around. You're following Softball Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Get Pulse Technology on your team. Hit a home run with our managed print and copier services, IT and technology solutions, office furniture and design services, office supplies, scoreboards, and AV solutions.
Have you heard? Strachan Van Til was voted Best of the Region 2025 in several categories, including Best Caterer, Deli, Flower Shop, Food and Grocery Delivery, Fried Chicken, Place to Buy Produce, Place to Buy Seafood, Loyalty Program, and Grocery Store. We're proud to be recognized by our community, and we're committed to continuing to deliver the variety, value, and convenience you deserve. See for yourself what it means to be the best when you shop at Strachan Van Til.
Thinking about what to do after high school? Consider a career with Boilermakers Local 374. As a Boilermaker apprentice, you'll earn while you learn. We offer excellent wages and benefits, and as part of our no-cost hands-on apprenticeship program, you'll learn from the best in state-of-the-art training centers and on the job. Become a union Boilermaker and get on your way to a great career. Find out more, visit www.local374.org or call 219-845-1000.
Four Seasons Mechanical proudly serves Northwest Indiana, providing quality, reasonably priced, reliable service. With a quality and comfort guarantee, the professionals at Four Seasons Mechanical offer a wide range of services in heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Whether it's residential or commercial, Four Seasons Mechanical is there 24/7. To find out more, the website is fourseasonsmechanical.com or give them a call at 219-756-7020. Four Seasons Mechanical, your indoor air quality specialist.
Playing of our national anthem.
Getting closer to first pitch as Crown Point hosts Illiana Christian at Cynthia Field. We will take a look at the game night forecast, which is brought to you by our friends at Economy Electric Heating and Cooling. Tonight's forecast in Crown Point, it is 61 degrees as it is a good night for softball. The temperatures will continue to drop a bit as the evening progresses into the mid-50s, with sunset being around 8:07. It'll be a rainy weekend, but the good news is none of that rain is forecasted in the evening tonight. The winds are blowing at about 14 miles per hour towards right field, so pitchers will have to be careful to avoid leaving anything hanging over the plate as the wind is blowing towards the outfield wall towards right field. So that is the game night forecast brought to you by Economy Electric Heating and Cooling. This will be one of the final tune-ups of the regular season for both teams. Crown Point wraps up their regular season campaign. It's been another 20-win season for the Bulldogs as they have their hopes set high for another deep run in the 4A playoffs. Will Illiana Christian, they have one more game remaining against Munster this weekend. They will be playing in a competitive 3A sectional. So both teams getting some good experience here before we begin that push to the state tournament. With that all beginning next week, we'll have plenty of coverage across the baseball and softball diamonds around the region next week. A fun time of the year when the state tournament begins, and we have several teams in the area with legitimate aspirations of lifting trophies as the season wraps up, whether that be at Purdue or at Victory Field. It should be a fun spring. And Crown Point, we see tonight, one of those teams defending state champions with many players from last year's team that know what it takes to win. But first things first, you have to wrap up the regular season, continue to display those winning habits, and we'll see how things progress as it'll be Beeson in the circle to face the Vikings. Beeson, the sophomore, looking to help her team wrap up the regular season with a win. 21-5-1 on the year for the Bulldogs. They have won their last two, including a win over LaPorte, 7-0 on Tuesday, and then last night against Lowell, 4-1. As Cracus gets ready to start the ball game on a good night for softball. It's one of those windows open type of nights in the press box where the conditions are very favorable as Beeson gets ready in the circle. Her windup, the first pitch, dots the corner for a strike right around 5 o'clock, and we are underway. Beeson ahead in the count to Cracus, 0-1. So young Illiana Christian team. Cracus, the leadoff hitter, a freshman, evens the count up at 1-1. But for Illiana Christian, they start regularly 6 sophomores mixed in with a couple of freshmen. The 1-1 pitch. Outside we go 2-1, but so for a team led by underclassmen to have 16 wins on the year, you can enjoy that both in the present and be optimistic about what the next couple seasons could entail for these Vikings. Now the 2-1. Just outside, looking for the far corner. Beeson doesn't get the spot. The count advances to 3-1, so Cracus doing a good job of not chasing those outside pitches. The left-handed batter working against a right-handed pitcher. The 3-1 is outside for ball 4, so a 5-pitch walk to Cracus puts a runner on first with nobody out. Olivia DeLegge will bat now for the Vikings. DeLegge, the second baseman this evening. So another underclassman, DeLegge, a sophomore, will look to make something happen with Cracus on base. DeLegge, 14 RBIs. Beeson's pitch cracked foul towards the net above the bleachers, so the count opens 0-1. But wrapping up that thought on Illiana Christian, where you're mixing in so many underclassmen and trying to get that feel for varsity experience. The 0-1, inside for a ball. The throw down to second base. And she's safe, just evading the tag. Cracus able to swim past that tag from Johnston. It was a good throw by Chision. Johnston tried to reach with that tag, but Cracus almost rolled away from it and was able to get her right hand towards the base. And what do we have here? We'll see Andrew Richwalski head out to the base paths to talk things over with the umpire down there, see what he saw. So aggressive play by Cracus, able to swipe one at second and trying to advance the scoring position. So things will resume here, but Illiana Christian with so many underclassmen getting that feel for varsity experience. This could be a very good test for them facing a tough Crown Point lineup right before the postseason as you start to go from now freshmen, get that full season under your belt, starting to feel like sophomores and trying to make some noise in the state tournament. The 1-1 pitch. Dropped into the gap in left field. Cracus gets to third. She won't stop there. She's going for the plate. The relay throw skips in, but she will score. And ending up at second is Dalig. And it's an RBI double. The Vikings strike first. With one big swing of the bat, it was a leadoff walk and then a double to follow. And now the visitors getting out to a early lead. Lauren Mish will look to see if she can continue things for Illiana Christian. For Dalig, that's her 15th RBI of the season. She's aboard at second base. Mish bats .522 on the season with a team-high 38 RBIs. Mish, a sophomore, playing left field this evening. The 1-0 pitch from Beeson. Inside, we go 2-0, so the freshman Krakis walks, then steals second. Then the sophomore Dalig doubles to bring her home. The underclassmen making it happen for the Vikings. And Mish trying to keep the party going here. The 2-0 pitch. She waves over it for strike one. Now flipping things to the Bulldogs for Beeson and company. You can't take that run back, but you could do your best to limit the damage and keep it at just one run against. We'll see how she's able to bounce back against this next batter in Mish. The 2-1 pitch. Wafted foul to the net over the first base side, so the count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So Mish, one of the top batters in the Viking lineup, .522 average, .615 on base percentage, and slugging 1,000 on the year. The 2-2 pitch. Called strike 3. Beeson freezes her up for the first out of this game.
Shortstop, number 22.
Was able to get it to the inner third of the zone. Mish realized too late that was a strike. Didn't bring the bat forward. It's a strikeout, and now the batter will be Emmy Jansma. So Jansma bats with a runner at second and 1 out. She tries to lay it on a bunt, but it caroms off her bat to the backstop. Starts the count with a strike. So Jansma was trying to lean into that bunt, just got the end of the bat under it, and it directed backwards. So we'll see if she can put one in play. Jansma with 12 RBIs on the season, bats with a teammate at second. She swings it foul to the screen. Dalig over at second base. She had the RBI double to start the scoring for the Vikings. Jansma will look to lock in here with 2 strikes, 1 out. Beeson goes through her windup. It spins outside. The count now 1-2. Jansma, also a sophomore, was a starter last year as a freshman playing second base. Now she switches to shortstop this season. The 1-2. She cracks it towards second base. It will loop into the outfield. Dalig rounds third, going for the plate. She will score. Sliding towards second is Jansma, but Johnston applies the tag. She is out, but the run will score. It's now a 2-0 lead for the Vikings.
Third baseman, number 24, Maya Vanderwood.
So Jansma picks up her 13th RBI of the season, but is thrown out trying to reach second. A good recovery by the Bulldogs. The run scores, but you're able to stop the damage a little bit by getting the runner out. Vanderwood lays off the first pitch for a ball. Good relay from Slavena to Johnston to erase Jansma. The 1-0 pitch. Taken for a strike, so now the count even and a ball and a strike. Nobody on base, 2 outs. Maya Vanderwood bats for Illiana Christian. The junior elevates this one foul, curling towards the dugout and out of play on the first base side. So the count now 1-2. Vanderwood, one of the few upperclassmen on this Viking roster, one of 2 juniors on the team. She'll try to deliver here with the count 1-2. Lifted foul towards the bleachers and out of play. So staying alive is Vanderwood. That's .406 on the season. One of the leaders in extra base hits for Illiana Christian with 3 doubles, 4 triples, and 4 home runs. The 1-2 pitch sliced foul towards the Viking dugout, and it rattles off the light post and towards the bleachers. But the count stays where it was, a ball and 2 strikes. But Vanderwood able to waste a couple of 2-strike pitches, keeps this at-bat going against Beeson. Beeson gets the sign, goes towards the plate. The 1-2 is high and away, So now 2s across the board here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and 2 runs have scored in this inning. Beeson takes a walk back to the circle, goes through her windup for the 2-2 pitch. She gets her to chase the rise ball for strike 3. That will end the inning. A pair of strikeouts for Beeson, but the Vikings score a pair of runs as we will head to the bottom of the first for the Bulldogs' first at-bats. That's coming up next, so stick around here watching Softball Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Company's Lantern Man. If you're a contractor, it's my job to make your insurance coverage simple and affordable. Because I know time is money, I'll come to your business. Certificates and bonds are a snap. Wherever you are, whatever business you're in, we've got you covered. As Crowell Company's Lantern Man, I'm your insurance superhero.
Crowell Company's Insurance Professionals, Highland, Merrillville, and Michigan City.
Mayor Pete Land and the Crown Point Pace Department are proud to support Crown Point Athletics and say Go Bulldogs. Crown Point remains dedicated to preserving history, celebrating everyday life, providing the best in city services, and encouraging smart growth. Visit Bulldog Park on select Saturdays for the Crown Point Farmers Market beginning May 23rd. Purchase wares from 70-plus vendors from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. through September 26th. For more information, visit crownpoint.info/farmersmarket. Scarlett Tegman lays off the first pitch from Grace Scheringa as the Vikings jump out to a 2-0 lead to start the game. Now you will see the first at-bats from the Bulldogs. It'll be Tegman followed by Johnston and Kita. The 1-0 pitch from Scheringa just misses low for a ball. The count now 2-0. So for Crown Point, looking to erase a 2-run deficit, it helps to get Tegman ahead in the count. Tegman with a .552 on-base percentage. Scores 36 runs on the year. She skips this one through the middle of the infield, just getting past the glove of Jansma. Tegman will reach base. That was going to be a tough play for Jansma to make deep through the middle at short. It just gets past her glove. I'd score it as a single for Tegman because I think even if she fielded it cleanly, that was going to be a tough throw to make. Tegman was flying down the line, was practically already at first. So Lulu Johnston will follow with a runner at first and nobody out. Johnston stays away from the first pitch. Tegman's going for second, and the throw to second hits her and redirects out into center field. So Tegman now advances to scoring position. She will stay in the game. Crown Point wearing red jerseys with white pants, while Illiana Christian dressed in all black jerseys with bright green numbers on front and back. The 1-0 pitch, grounded past shortstop into left field. Tegman slides in safely to third base. Johnston is aboard, and now the Bulldogs threatening with runners at first and third, and Ashlyn Kita up to bat. And trailing 2-0, Crown Point now has the tying run at first base with one of their top run producers at the plate. Kita bats .523 on the year, 37 RBIs, has a chance to add a couple more to that total as Scheringa will look to lock in here. The freshman pitcher winds and fires as Johnston slowly trots towards second base. The throw gets into center field. That will score Tegman, and the Bulldogs are on the board. After a bit of a defensive misplay by the Vikings, Tegman was able to easily score there. The throw towards second seemed to almost be a surprise as Johnston was slowly stealing second, not anticipating a throw over. The throw came, but It was off the mark, and that scores Tegman. Now the tying run is at third base. The 2-0 pitch to Kita. In for a strike. So Johnston steals second and then advances to third on the error. The count 2-1 to Kita. Nobody out and a runner at third base. The pitch is inside, makes it a 3-1 count. For Illiana Christian, now trying to preserve the lead up 2-1. But the Bulldogs threatening in a big way with nobody out. Kita goes after the 3-1 pitch, can't line it up. It's a strike. The count now full at 3-2. So a full count to Kita, the Bulldog, third baseman. The payoff pitch from Shuringa. Skips towards third base. Gets to Vanderwood. She throws to first. That will be enough to beat Kita, but it brings Johnston in to score. And we now have a tie game. The Bulldogs with 2 runs in the bank already. And now Evie Cuevas up to bat. So Kita does her job, being able to just send a sharp ground ball to third base. Vanderwood really only had one play to make there. The throw to the plate would have been tough as Johnston was hustling down the line, so she went with the smart play, the relatively safe play to first base. Or not the safe play as the runner was out, but the less risky play to first base. The 1-0 pitch to Cuevas. She slices it towards right field, and a sliding catch made by Dunnett for out number 2. Dunnett was charging in and had to go with the slide. It wasn't a full slide, but she was still upright, sliding, and made the catch about shoulder height, almost like a rock star sliding, or a soccer player when they do the slide on 2 knees after a goal. She does that and makes the catch for the second out. And now Anna Neal bats with 2 outs, nobody on, but 2 runs in this inning for the Bulldogs. But a nice defensive play by Dunnett to prevent Cuevas from reaching base. The 1-0 bounces foul towards the on-deck circle, so now the count even at a ball and a strike. Neal bats .292 on the year. It's been an active first inning with each team scoring 2 runs. Neal plays it high in the air towards center field, and this one will leave the yard. The Bulldogs take a lead on a solo blast from Anna Neal. For Neal, that's her first home run of the season, as that left the yard in a hurry and really traveling well. Or, pardon me, that's her 7th home run of the season. As taking a look at my own handwriting, her 7th home run of the season. That one traveled out in a hurry to dead center field. And now the Bulldogs, after trailing by 2, step up for their first at-bats, now leading 3-2. El Chision watches the first pitch go in for a strike. It was a single for Tegman, a single for Johnston. An error brought Tegman in to score, and then an RBI ground out from Kita brought Johnston in, and then Neal cranks up a solo home run to make it a 3-2 lead for the Bulldogs. As I was saying right before that pitch to Neal, it's been a very active first inning with the Vikings scoring 2 runs in the top half, and now the Bulldogs with a trio of runs in the bottom half. Chision grounds it deep to second base. Dowling is there. She will toss it over the first base to end the busy first inning. It's a 3-2 lead for Crown Point as we head to the second. You're following Softball Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Earn while you learn from the best hands in the business. The Bricklayers Allied Craftworkers for Indiana Kentucky Apprenticeship. That's right, this is a paid apprenticeship.
I'm getting an education while learning a trade and getting paid for it. thing that surprised me the most about this apprenticeship program is the respect I have received after the proper time and training.
Classes start soon, so apply now. There are training centers throughout Indiana and Kentucky. We are the Bricklayers and Allied Craft Workers for Indiana Kentucky Apprenticeship, the best hands in the business.
At American Testing Services, based in Hobart, Indiana, we specialize in NDT drone inspections and heat treatment services for local mills, fab shops, and facilities across the country. From Northwest Indiana to nationwide, we deliver precision, safety, and reliability. American Testing Services, America's trusted name in NDT.
Looking to buy or sell in Northwest Indiana? Trust the Nicola Group, one of the region's top real estate teams delivering a smooth, client-first experience every step of the way. The Nicola Group, the trusted Northwest Indiana real estate team. Well, we get ready to start the top of the second inning with Crown Point leading over Illiana Christian 3-2. So that's been a very offense-filled first inning. We'll see now if the both pitchers will look to change that, with Illiana Christian scoring 2 runs on 2 hits. Crown Point, 3 runs on 3 hits. Cheyenne Colvin leads off the inning for the Vikings. Colvin, the sophomore catcher, bats right-handed against the sophomore right-handed pitcher, Beeson. Colvin jabs it foul to the backstop. She bats .424 on the season. Illiana Christian had a leadoff walk by Krakis, and then Dalig brought her home with a double. Jansma then followed it up with an RBI single. She was thrown out trying to extend it into a double. And then the Bulldogs countered with 3 runs in the bottom of that inning as Colvin has it carry foul, winding out of play just over the Crown Point bullpen. So the count now 0-2 to Colvin. Crown Point trying to defend their home field as Beeson brings the 0-2 pitch to the plate. It's outside. We now go 1-2. But the Bulldogs dressed in their red jerseys with white numbers on front and back. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Colvin plays it foul again, just under that delivery from Beeson. Plays it high and away. Colvin will look to try to straighten one out and keep things going here, as this is skied but shallow in the infield. Johnston will camp out under it and make the catch for out number 1. Colvin was able to make contact but unable to really drive it as it went high, but didn't leave the infield. Johnston was able to make the play, and now there's one away, nobody on base for Sophia Dunnett. Dunnett, one of 6 sophomores in the lineup for the Vikings, swings through that first pitch from Beeson. Now the 0-1. It was high and a little bit off speed, but Dunnett would not go after it, so the count evened up at a ball and a strike. Now the 1-1. In for a strike, we go 1-2. A ball and 2 strikes to Dunnett, playing right field this evening for Illiana Christian. Beeson goes forward. On the 1-2 pitch, she swings and fouls it to the backstop. So Dunnett just doing what she can to try to keep this at-bat going against Beeson. And now we'll see how Beeson's able to try to find a way to end the at-bat. On the 1-2 pitch, Dunnett sends it to left field. Johnston will angle over, and the shortstop makes the catch for out number 2. 2 flyouts to Lulu Johnston, but 2 very different pieces of contact. One was a shallow fly ball to the infield. The other was hooking towards left field, so she had angled just behind third base near the foul line to make the catch for the second out. And now Brooklyn Dirks will step in to bat with 2 away against Beeson. Dirks fouls it to the net, And she is a freshman working as the DP today in a underclassmen-heavy lineup. 6 juniors, 2 freshmen, and 6 sophomores, a freshman. I'll get it after this pitch. The 0-1. 6 sophomores in the starting lineup, 2 freshmen and a junior make up the starting 9 for the Vikings, with a freshman in the circle. And they're trailing 3-2 against a tough Crown Point team. The count goes 2-1 to Dirks in the right-handed batter's box. So she'll look to try to extend this inning, batting out of the 8th spot today. The 2-1. She gets it just over the hands and fouls it. It skips off the top of the Viking dugout and out of play. Count now even at 2 balls and 2 strikes, so Dirks down to her last strike. Trying to stay alive against Beeson. Here's the breakthrough pitch. 2-2 was low. We'll go full at 3-2. Dirk steps back into the batter's box. Beeson looks to her catcher. Now winds up, delivers the payoff pitch. It is low for ball 4. Dirks walks. She is on base. The inning continues. And now Talia Bornson will bat with a runner at first and 2 away.
Number 11, Talia Bornson.
Bornson, another freshman batting for the Vikings. She bats left-handed with Dirks aboard at first. Beeson goes to the plate. Bornson lays off. It was high for a ball. So now the 9 spot up for Illiana Christian, the top of the order on deck, trailing by a run. We'll see what they can do here. The 1-0 pitch. At the corner for strike 1. It's been a busy week for both teams. Both were in action Tuesday and Wednesday. For the Vikings, they fell to Andrean 8-2 on Tuesday, and then picked up a 14-1 win against Calumet New Tech yesterday. Off the end of the bat, this one cued towards Kita at third base. She will make the catch for out number 3. That's how the top of the second inning will end, as the Bulldogs will step back up to bat in the bottom half of this inning. So stick around. You're watching Softball Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
IBEW Local 697 isn't just wiring buildings. We're woven into the very fabric of Northwest Indiana. We're your neighbors. Our kids go to school with yours. We stand in the same bleachers cheering for the same high school teams. When you hire a union electrician, you're not just getting the highest quality work. You're supporting our community. IBEW Local 697, proudly powering our own.
Sometimes the hardest part of improving your business isn't coming up with a great idea. It's knowing what to do with it. Chester Inc. Architectural and Construction Services is ready to meet all your industrial and commercial construction needs. Whether it's a small build-out or a complete construction project, Chester will design, build, and finance. Our team eliminates multiple contractors, providing you a single point of contact while staying within your budget. Chester Inc. Architectural and Construction Services, turning your ideas into realities.
At Region Sports, we don't like downtime. Whether it's a championship drive or a game night print job, we trust Pulse Technology to keep the toner cartridge full and the process running smoothly. Pulse Technology, the heartbeat of the Region Sports Network, the only game in town. We're getting ready to start the last of the second inning at Cynthia Field, where Crown Point leads over Illiana Christian 3-2. As we're waiting for something here, but the Bulldogs will look to continue to try to add to their lead. It'll be Dauphin, Govert, and Slovena do up the 7, 8, and 9 spots here. But the Vikings in the field waiting for something defensively, as we continue to take a look ahead as Illiana Christian will be playing in a tough 3A sectional featuring Hanover Central, who was the 3A state runner-up last season, a tough Kankakee Valley squad. And then for the Bulldogs, we've talked about it a lot. Their sectional and 4A they seem to be on a collision course waiting to face. We were waiting for the corner infielders to join the party as, they're getting ready through their final warm-up tosses. But the Bulldogs almost seemingly highly anticipated potential matchup in their sectional that could be awaiting with a Lake Central and Crown Point in the same pairing here, the two top teams in the 4A coaches poll, and not to mention Munster, who's ranked 15th in the 4A poll, also in that sectional. That should be exciting to follow next week, as now we are ready for the start of the inning. Dauphin steps in to bat against Scheringa. The freshman delivers towards the plate, gets a strike to open the count 0-1. Dauphin playing first base today, bats .321 on the year. Crown Point took the lead in the first inning with a solo home run from Anna Neal. The 0-1 off the end of the bat towards first base. And the play will be made at first by Bornson, who is able to drop down, scoop it up, collect it, and then step over on the cushion, doing it all herself for out number one. So now Eva Govert will bat with nobody on base and one away. Govert bats .256 this season, 19 RBIs on 22 hits. She has 7 doubles. Watches the first pitch spin low for a ball. Good movement on that delivery from Scheringa, but it just dropped a little low. And Govert knew to stay away from that one. The 1-0 pitch. Inside, Govert just able to lean out of the way. The count now 2 balls and no strikes to Govert. She'll step back into the batter's box, but even though you're facing the bottom third of the order here, this is a tough part of the Crown Point batting lineup. The count now 3-0. These are some tough hitters here in Dauphin, Govert, and Slavina. Dauphin grounded out to first base, but Govert, we've seen her with some big swings this season. And now the 3-0 pitch. It's in for a strike. That one tailing away from Govert, but able to get that outer third. So the count now 3-1. Scheringa's windup is inside for ball 4, so Govert will be a one-out base runner for the Bulldogs. The batter now, Ella Slavena, the right fielder. She has 11 RBIs on the season, bats left-handed. And we'll see how aggressive the Bulldogs are with Govert at first. We've seen them send a couple runners already. It was what led to one of their runs. Govert's going with the first pitch. It squeaks past the catcher. The throw down to second base will not be able to beat her. Colvin lost it, but had a good recovery to send a quick throw over to Jansma at second, but Govert eluded the tag. She takes second. Now she is in scoring position with just one out. The 1-0 pitch to Slavena. She shows bunt, takes it away. Shuffling out to a lead was Govert, but she'll go back to second. 2 balls, no strikes from Scheringa to Slavena. Now the 2-0 pitch. In for a strike, a backdoor pitch with a lot of movement from Scheringa. She looks to her catcher, Colvin, for the sign for the 2-1 pitch. Here it is. The fastball just outside. We go 3-1, so Scheringa here in the second, falling behind in a couple counts, trying to see if she can battle back against Slavena. With the top of the order on deck, the 3-1 pitch. Slavena skips it high to first base. Stepping on the bag is Bornson. That was a high bounce from Slavena, and Bornson was just able to track it well had to reach up and look it into the glove. If that got past her, that could have been trouble going down the line in right field. But her momentum basically carried her to first base. So 2 groundouts to first base are responsible for the 2 outs in this half inning. Govert advanced to third base in the process there. Here's Scarlett Tegman. Scheringa drives in the first pitch for a strike. Tegman singled and later scored in the first inning. This will be her second meeting with Scheringa. Tegman, the senior center fielder for the Bulldogs. She waits for the 0-1 pitch. It's outside. We go 1-1. With the count even at a ball and a strike, Tegman steps back into the left-handed batter's box. Scheringa winds and fires. The next delivery is a fastball outside. So for the freshman pitcher in Scheringa, you have 2 outs in the inning. You're facing the top of the order. There's a runner at third base. This is a tough spot against one of the top batters in the area in Tegman. So you have to avoid making a mistake as Tegman slaps it foul just past the Crown Point dugout. So the count now even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. But for a freshman pitcher in Scheringa, you have to be able to not be overwhelmed by the moment against a accomplished hitter in Tegman. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Just high for a ball. The count now full at 3-2. A high-pressure spot. We'll see who can win it, the pitcher or the batter, with the count full and 2 outs in the inning. Crown Point leads by a run, but they have a chance to make it more than that with Govert over at third base. Here's the payoff pitch. That is just high for ball 4. Tegman is on base for the second time tonight with a walk. She singled in the first and now walks in the second. The batter will now be Lulu Johnston with runners at the corners and 2 away. The first pitch to Johnston, a strike at the outer third, and moving over to second base, uncontested is Tegman. The Vikings don't risk a throwdown, and so now 2 runners in scoring position for Johnston. The 0-1, called strike 2. Johnston, 26 RBIs on the season, bats with a couple of friends on base at second and third. But she's down to her last strike. The pitch from Scheringa. Driven foul just past the Bulldog dugout. So the count stays right where it was at 0-2. No change after that foul ball. A good swing, just a little bit late by Johnston. So now she prepares for the 0-2 delivery. Scheringa to the plate. Johnston sends it on a ride towards left field. That will drop at the track, skips to the wall. Govert will score. Tegman crosses the plate as well. It's a 2 RBI double for Johnston to make it a 5-2 lead for the Bulldogs. RBIs number 27 and 28 for Johnston as she records her 14th double of the season. That's a team high, and she is on base for the second time today as Ashlyn Keita steps up to bat with 2 away and a runner on second base. The first pitch is a fastball for a strike from Scheringa. But a productive second inning for the Bulldogs, able to generate a 2-out rally and have now sent 2 across the plate. The 0-1 pitch to Keita. She skips it foul along the third baseline, so now she's down to her last strike, 0-2. At the top of the order, making noise for the Bulldogs with 2 outs in the inning, 2 ground outs to first base. Govert walked, and then Tegman also walked. It was then a 2 RBI double from Johnston. And now Keita ropes one into center field. Johnston rounds third, going for the plate. The throw into Colvin, the tag, not in time. Johnston scores. It's now a 3-run inning for the Bulldogs. That was a close play at the plate as Krakis sent a dart towards the plate to Colvin, who just tried to reach over for the tag. Johnston, it was close at the plate. The umpire signaled safe, so Johnston in to score. Keita ends up at second base with her 38th RBI of the season. And now Cuevas skies one towards left field, but Krakis will have a beat on it, makes a catch at the track to end the inning, but not before damage is done by the Bulldogs, adding 3 more runs. We're through 2. It's Crown Point 6, Illiana Christian 2. You're watching Softball Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
With electrical services from Economy Electric Heating and Cooling, you can radiate the perfect amount of light and energy into your home. From rewiring and code upgrades to ceiling fans, lighting, security, and more, Economy Electric Heating and Cooling's trained electricians will make sure you can enjoy your home on full power all the time. For a free estimate on electrical work, call Economy Electric Heating and Cooling at 219-923-4441, and you can visit them on the web at 4ajobdoneright.com. That's the number 4ajobdoneright.com.
You ready? Let's go! Yeah. For those of you that want to know what we're all about, it's like this, y'all. This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to remember the name.
Your future starts
here.
To keep up with all things Region Sports, be sure to check us out on our social media pages. The first pitch, tapped foul, but we are always active on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, X, and at our website at regionsports.com. Celebrating over 25 years, we are proud to still be the only game in town. So the top of the third inning, and the Vikings will have some work to do as they trail 6-2. Beeson goes to the plate, slapping the pitch foul is Krakis. She is now behind 0-2 after a couple of swings foul. Krakis walked and scored to start the game for the Vikings, but now they trail by 4 after back-to-back innings with 3 runs for the Bulldogs. The 0-2 pitch outside makes it a 1-2 count. Krakis, the freshman center, or the sophomore center fielder, leads things off for Illiana Christian at the top of the order. She waits for the 1-2, pokes it towards the circle. Beeson has to react, throwing down to first base, but hustling and beating it out for an infield single is Krakis. She starts the third inning with a base run, and that is the way it goes in diamond sports sometimes. It's not always the hardest swing that gets you on base, as Krakis found that one out, just tapping it on what was almost a half swing. And Beeson looking maybe a little surprised there, had to then race in to get to it, and good speed by Krakis to fly down the line. She's aboard at first. And now Dalig plays it foul, but playable to right field. It will land on the track, unable to get to it, or either of the Crown Point defenders. So it's just a long strike on the foul ball. But Dalig batting with a runner at first, nobody out. We'll see, with Krakis having good speed at first base, if the Vikings will send her in motion. The 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Dalig unable to climb the ladder with that pitch from Beeson. Krakis with 12 stolen bases. She had one in the first inning. She has stolen 12 bases on the year. She's at first base. This one cued to second base. A diving play made by Govert. The throw to first will beat Dalig. Well, what a play by Eva Govert for the first out. As Govert had to extend, diving towards right field, made the glove save, pounces up, throws to first, and beats Dalig by a step. That was one of the top defensive plays we have seen this evening. And now batting will be Lauren Misch, one of the top run producers in the Viking lineup. She struck out looking in her first at-bat. She'll be looking for a different result here in the third inning. Goes after the first pitch from Beeson. Can't get to it as it tails away from the right-handed batter. So the count now 0-1. Mish with 6 doubles, 6 triples, 4 home runs, 38 RBIs. She knocks that one foul just beyond the catcher. So she bats with a teammate at second base. That's Krakis. And her team trailing by 4, so they could use a big swing from Mish here in the third inning. Mish really one of the only upperclassmen in this lineup, or pardon me, she is not an upperclassman, she's a sophomore, but one of the more experienced players in the Illiana Christian lineup. Here's the 0-2. Mish skips it to Beeson at the circle. She will throw over to first base. Advancing to third is Krakis. They throw over, but she has to slide back in time. Krakis started to round third base, and then a quick throw by Dauphin made her have to retreat back to third. So Krakis is 60 feet away from scoring, but the Vikings down to their last out as Emmy Jansma will bat. Jansma waits for the first pitch from Beeson, tries to lay it on a bunt with 2 outs. It is kind of towards the pitcher, and Beeson, she vacuums it up and just holds on to it, puts it in her pocket, allows Jansma to reach, but prevents Krakis from scoring. So the Vikings now threatening with runners at first and third, and Maya Vanderwood batting. And that play was a play the Bulldogs could afford to make with 2 outs. Don't risk the accelerated throw to first base as Vanderwood drives one foul, but if you rush that throw and things are off, that could go into right field, bring the run in to score with 2 outs. You look the runner back to third base, you allow Jansma to reach, and now with runners at the corners, you'll see what you can do here with a variety of ways you could cook up the third out with Vanderwood batting. Vanderwood behind 0-1 in the count. The pitch from Beeson. She shows bunt, pulls away, and advancing over to second base in the process is Jansma. She steals second. So now the Vikings threatening a bit here with 2 in scoring position, but with 2 outs in the inning. You have to be careful here. The 1-1 pitch. Vanderwood fouls it to the backstop. The count now a ball and 2 strikes with 2 down in the top of the third inning. This is one of those big spots in the game where if the Vikings could break through, that could swing some momentum to their side. But if the Bulldogs can escape here, they could be very energized. The 1-2 pitch is just inside to even the count up at 2 apiece. But the momentum could go either way depending on the result of this at-bat between Beeson and Vanderwood. The 2-2, sent on a ride towards left field. It skips along the line towards the corner. Both runners will score. Vanderwood pulls up to second base. It's a 2 RBI double for Maya Vanderwood to bring the Vikings within 2. Krakis scores from third, and then advancing from second is Jansma. Just like that, it's 6-4. After a big swing of the bat from Vanderwood for RBIs number 31 and 32 of her season. And now Cheyenne Colvin will step into bat as Beeson and Shizen meet at the circle just to try to talk things over. But pitcher and catcher will end their conference, go back to their stations, and we'll see if they can find a way to get out of this inning. But the Vikings rallying here, scoring 2 runs with 2 outs in the inning. Kind of similar to what we saw from Crown Point in their last half inning. Colvin lifts it foul to the net. So the count starts 0-1. Illiana Christian would strike first with 2 runs in the first. Then Crown Point responded with a 3 spot in the bottom half of that inning. The pitch to Colvin is inside for a ball, evens the count up at 1-1. Then Crown Point would continue with 3 runs in the bottom of the second inning. Now Illiana Christian has added 2 runs in the top of the third. It's been an offense-filled ball game. The 1-1 pitch. Inside, we go 2-1. Going into this game, Illiana Christian had 189 runs for, 95 runs against. Crown Point, 230 runs for, and 63 runs against. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Colvin knocks it down, foul towards third base. So the count now 2-2. Colvin will have to get defensive here, down to her last strike. So the sophomore catcher facing a sophomore pitcher. The 2-2 is low and rolls its way to home. So we go full 3-2 with a runner at second base. But Illiana Christian, you have to be optimistic about how they have played with 2 outs in this inning. Here's the payoff pitch. Colvin skies it foul and towards the football field, foul. So the count stays where it was. 3 balls and 2 strikes. With 2 outs to the Viking catcher, Cheyenne Colvin. And the next 3-2 pitch is inside. It's a 2-out walk for Colvin. She'll keep the line moving. There are now runners at first and second for the Vikings. And Sophia Dunnett will bat, and I think we'll have a courtesy runner over at first base. We'll see who that is. It will be Addie Hatesma, the freshman, in to take the place of the catcher Colvin at first base. So everybody gets ready to go back to their spots, and what a moment here. The tying run on base with Crown Point leading 6-4, but Dunnett could change that with a big swing of the bat. Dunnett has 14 RBIs this season. 1 double, 3 triples. She goes after the first pitch, but it was rising high and away. She couldn't go up with it for a strike. The count now 0-1. A good spot there from Beeson. That's when those fastballs high and away are so tough to catch up to. Now she counters with a strike right over the heart of the plate. Dunnett didn't go forward, so she's behind. 0-2. But that fastball high and away, that can be a very challenging pitch to get to. Here's the 0-2. It's outside. Now 1-2. But Dunnett trying to deliver for the Vikings with runners at first and second and 2 outs in the inning. Beeson's 1-2 pitch. Lofted towards the circle. Beeson will be able to step back and makes the catch to end the half inning. But Illiana Christian rallies for 2 runs with 2 outs. We are through 2.5. Crown Point leads 6-4. You're watching Softball Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
With offices in Munster and Cedar Lake, Ethos Dental Group offers a full scope of general and cosmetic dentistry with expertise ranging from porcelain veneers to dental implants, crowns, and bridges. At Ethos Dental Group, you're assured that Dr. Mark Stojkovic and his associates, Dr. Emily Hansen and Dr. Brian Douts, utilize the latest in technology. Check out ethosdentalgroup.com or call 219-595-3432 to schedule an appointment. Ethos Dental Group, dental care you can believe in.
Looking to score great deals on sports and fitness gear? Shop local at Play It Again Sports Maryville. We have new and quality used equipment for baseball, softball, golf, hockey, fitness, and more. Plus, turn your old gear into cash on the spot or create your own discount with store credit for even better deals.
Anna Neal leads off the last of the third inning for the Bulldogs, and she sends one high towards left field, but it will be foul. We got a little excited about that one as it was Neal who had that long home run to center field back in the first inning. At the conclusion of tonight's game, we'll name the Crowell Companies Lantern Man Superhero of the game. Crowell Companies proud to recognize the superheroes on the diamond. Scheringa goes to the plate, but that pitch is outside, so the count now even at a ball and a strike. As Crown Point leads 6-4 here in the bottom of the third inning. The count 1-1. The freshman pitcher Scheringa goes to the plate. Neal sends it on the ground towards shortstop, but it's vacuumed up by Jansma, and she'll throw across the diamond for out number 1. So Neal grounds out to short, and the batter will be Elle Chisholm with one away and nobody on base. Crown Point with only going into this game 63 runs allowed. I don't see them give up 4 runs or more very often this season, but that's what Illiana Christian's been able to do. But the bad news for the Vikings is the Bulldogs, a prolific offense with over 230 runs scored, have been able to score 6 runs in this game. So we'll see how both offenses can battle here as Chisin skips it to second base. Dalig throws to first in time for out number 2. Dalig, a trickier play than it might seem. She made it look routine, but there's nothing routine about that. She had to circle it and take a sharp angle in, scoops it up on the run, and throws still in motion to first base to beat Chisin by a step or 2 for the second out. And now Stella Dauphin will bat. But through the first, third, 3 innings, it's been very active. Each team scoring a couple of crooked number frames in this game, and there's still a lot of softball left to play as it's a 6-4 lead for the Bulldogs. The 1-0 pitch to Dauphin is outside, makes it a 2-0 count. Dauphin grounded out to first base in her previous at-bat. Now faces Sheringa for a second time. The 2-0 pitch inside for a ball, so Dauphin very much ahead in this count. 3 balls and no strikes. So Sheringa will try to work her way back into the count. Her next pitch over the plate for a strike. Dauphin doesn't offer. The count now 3-1. For Dauphin, she bats .321 on the season, .371 on base percentage while slugging .393. The 3-1 offering. She goes after it but waves above it for a strike, so now the count is full, 3-2. And with 2 away, Dauphin will look to make the most of this opportunity and keep the inning going. Here we go for the payoff pitch. Just outside for ball 4. Dauphin will reach base, and that brings Ava Govert up to bat. So Govert, who walked and scored in the second inning, will step in with Dauphin at first base, but 2 away. Govert rolls it to third base. Getting to it is Vanderwood. She throws over to first. That will end the inning. The ground out across the diamond will retire Govert and send us to the 4th inning with Crown Point leading 6-4. You're watching Softball Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
At Blyce, we're used to having the athlete shop at our store.
Down, sit, put.
But sometimes they get carried away. Blyce, this is where the athlete shops.
Located in the heart of downtown Indianapolis, the newly renovated Hampton Inn is within walking distance to over 30 restaurants and attractions, including Lucas Oilfield and Gamebridge Fieldhouse. Hampton Inn has much to offer, including a hot breakfast, high-speed internet access in every room, as well as a fitness center. Why wait? Make your reservations today. Call 317-261-1200 or make them on the web at hamptonin3.hilton.com. Hampton Inn, Indianapolis, downtown.
There's a new pitcher in for Crown Point. That means we'll turn to the Enigenberg Exteriors Home Improvement Hurlers. The Bulldogs will bring in a relief pitcher, Grace Gabriel, to relieve Beeson. I will tally up her numbers as this inning continues. But first, the numbers for the sophomore Gabriel. She is 3-2 on the year over 9 appearances, a .459 ERA, throwing 21 1/3 innings, 25 hits against throughout those innings, 16 runs, 14 of which were earned. She has walked 7 batters while striking out 12. So it's Gabriel in to relieve Beeson. as I will again tally up the numbers on Beeson momentarily, so bear with me here. For Beeson, 5 hits against, 4 runs, and we will see 3 walks for Beeson and a pair of strikeouts. So now the Vikings will get a look at a new pitcher from the Bulldogs, and it'll be Brooklyn Dirks, the first Viking batter to oppose Gabriel. She winds and fires, and the first pitch is inside to start the count 1-0. But both Beeson and Gabriel getting some innings today after it's been a busy week for the Bulldogs, but most of the pitching thrown by Lazert, so now you get a pair of sophomores in to work. As the 1-0 pitch is lifted foul to the net to even the count at a ball and a strike. Dirks walked in her only at-bat of the game. That was against Beeson, so this will be her first time seeing Gabriel. The freshman right-handed batter works against the sophomore right-handed pitcher. 1-1. Inside we go 2-1. And so both teams with high expectations going into the state tournament next week. This is one of those good non-conference games, especially later in the year. That's almost a playoff preview type game for each team. The 2-1 gets the corner for a strike, 2-2 for Illiana Christian to face a competitive 4A team. That can go a long way as you're facing a team that expects to win at the highest class. And now the 2-2 pitch from Gabriel. Swing and a miss, strike 3. She took a little something off that one and some good movement to get Dirks missing for a strikeout. That's the first out, and even for Crown Point facing a 3A team with 16 wins on the year, that could be some good test right before the playoffs. One last kind of dress rehearsal before the state tournament. Showing bunt and jabbing it along the third base line is Bornson, but it rolls foul. But both teams, you can learn a lot from how you play in this matchup and learn what you might still need to refine going into the playoffs. And right now it's Crown Point leading 6-4. The 0-1. A big swing, but a miss from Bornson to make it an 0-2 count. Gabriel working ahead in this at-bat. She struck out the first batter she saw. Now she's ahead against the second. Gabriel's 0-2 outside makes it a 1-2 look. Bornson lined out to third base in her only at-bat of the game. Now the 1-2 pitch from the righty Gabriel. Bornson checks on it, and it goes right to her bat. Foul. Just brought the bat forward a little bit. It goes right above her hands and redirects towards the third base dugout of Crown Point. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Bornson drives it towards right field. It's sky high, but dropping to Slovena for the second out. It was a big swing by Bornson, but it just seemed to hit a wall and fall down to Slovena, who was able to camp out in the right spot for the second out. It brings the top of the order up in Lauren Krakis. So Krakis bats with 2 down and nobody on. She has scored 2 of the 4 runs for the Vikings this evening. In her first meeting with Gabriel, she stays away from the first pitch, takes it for a ball, starts the count 1-0. Gabriel steadies, winds up, and delivers the 1-0. Krakis goes after it, but can't get the timing right, so the count now 0-2 on that swinging strike. So Krakis down to her last strike. Gabriel delivers, but it spins inside for ball 1. So a ball and 2 strikes to Krakis. The next pitch towards the plate. Krakis pokes it towards third base, where it's scooped up by Kita. She will throw to first in time for the final out. So we are through 3.5. It's Crown Point 6, Illiana Christian 4. You're watching Softball Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
On-Site Generator Solutions is a locally owned and operated power partner for Northwest Indiana homes. With over 14 years of experience, they handle tasks such as generators, residential electric, plumbing, automotive care, and more. You can find them on Facebook. Give them a call at 219-516-6800 or search them up on the web at onsitegeneratorsolutions.com. On-Site Generator Solutions. Power you could count on, every time, everywhere.
Some see a wrestling match. We see a 6-minute lesson in grit. Some see a coach sending a runner home. We see a mentor guiding a student athlete into the future. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
The first pitch to Slovenia here in the bottom of the fourth, as we're just about halfway through, is outside for a ball. Mayor Pete Land and the Crown Point Pace Department are proud to support Crown Point Athletics and Sago Bulldogs. Crown Point remains dedicated to preserving history, celebrating everyday life, and providing the best in city services and encouraging smart growth. The next pitch is outside 2-0. You can visit Bulldog Park on select Saturdays for the Crown Point Farmers Market beginning May 23rd. Purchase wares from 70-plus vendors from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. through September 26th. The 2-0, Slovenia drives it to center field. It will land in front of Krakis. It's a leadoff single for Slovenia, bringing the top of the order up with nobody out and a runner at first base. So the 14th hit of the season for Slovenia is a good one to start an inning, bringing Scarlett Tegman up. Tegman, who has scored 2 runs in the game. She has singled and walked. She has stolen 2 bases. So she has been very active in this game. That's for the friend on base. Slovenia is going for second base. The throw skips towards Jansma, and she tries to apply the tag, but Slovenia just beats it there. Slovenia almost had to accelerate a little more than expected. Was moving down the line to second and then had to go for a little bit of an extra boost to get to second. And got there in time. So the 1-0 pitch to Tegman is low for a ball. The count now 2-0, and you have to be careful against Tegman. She was able to work that walk in her second at-bat with 2 outs in the inning and didn't chase at any of those tempting pitches that were just outside the zone. She lays off another one, is ahead in the count 3-0. Working with Slovenia on base, Tegman in the driver's seat of this at-bat. 3 balls and no strikes. To the leadoff hit at the top of the order in Tegman. The 3-0, Tegman drives it towards left field, and the catch made by Mish. A good play by the left fielder to range in and made that catch just about shoulder height. On the opposite field drive by Tegman, but it ends up in the glove of a defender for the first out. It was really traveling in a hurry to Mish, and she was able to waste no time getting there to make the catch. Here's Lulu Johnston, who was 2 for 2 on the day, and with a 2 RBI double to show for her last at-bat. She doesn't go for the first pitch. It's inside for a ball. Makes it a 1-0 count to start this at-bat to Johnston. Scheringa's pitch dots the corner for a strike, evens the count up at 1-1. Johnston singled and scored in the first inning, had a 2 RBI double and would score in the second. The next pitch, though, she will stay away. It's a ball, the count 2-1. So Johnston, in total, has helped contribute to 4 of the 6 runs for the Bulldogs in this game. Scheringa's 2-1 delivery gets the outer third for a strike, even things up at 2 apiece. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Johnston. Slavena, the runner over at second base. The 2-2 pitch. She leans over, just gets the end of the bat on it to foul it to the fence. So that will keep the at-bat going. Johnston, the sophomore shortstop, looking to help power her team to a win against a non-conference opponent in Illiana Christian. The 2-2 pitch. Johnston skips it towards her counterpart Jansma at short, lofts it across the diamond for 1 out. The throw to third, not in time. Advancing to third base is Slavena, just beating her. Actually, Johnston was safe at first base, so no outs recorded on the play. Johnston reaches first as the throw was a little high from Jansma, so an infield single for Johnston. Advances Slavena, and it looks like we will see a bit of a switch up here. The lineup card is out, looking to see who is moved around here, or I think we're going to see a discussion with the umpires potentially. We'll get things sorted out. I thought this was going to be a pitching change, but it might be a discussion between the umpires, and as of now, it looks like everything's going to stay put. And both runners are safe. So, yep, everybody's safe on the play. Johnston reaches first. And Ashlyn Kita will bat with 2 runners on and only 1 away. So Kita, who had an RBI double in her last at bat, could add to that total as the first pitch is inside and it hits her. It gets Kita. That will load the bases for the Bulldogs. Johnston goes to second. And Kita is aboard after she was hit by a pitch. So Evie Cuevas will bat with a red jersey on every base and only 1 out. The Bulldogs lead by 2, but could make it a much larger lead with Cuevas batting. Kita's at first, Johnston at second, and Slavena at third. Scheringa trying to find a way out of this jam. The first pitch is outside, and for a freshman pitcher in Scheringa, this is a good learning experience. How can you work here with the bases loaded and 1 out against one of the top teams in the state? The 1-0 pitch. She muscles one in for a strike, evens things up at 1-1. No better way to learn how to pitch in these spots than by doing it here. The 1-1 cued towards first. The throw to the plate will get 1 out. So the Vikings, with a heads-up play, get the out at the plate. Borenson throws to Colvin to erase Slavena. She's out. That's the second of the inning.
Now batting the left fielder.
But everybody else moves up 60 feet. Johnston goes to third. Kita to second, and Cuevas is on base with the fielder's choice. A good play by Borenson, and now Anna Neal will bat, and we'll see a pinch runner over at first base, and not sure who that is. She's wearing a long-sleeve overshirt. That's Amaria Yarbrough, as she is at first base, but Yarbrough takes the place of Cuevas. And Anna Neal will step in to bat with the bases loaded and 2 away. And what else do we have here? I think we're just making sure Yarbrough, the runner over at first base. So Neal, who had the long home run in the first inning, steps up to bat with a friendly face at every station. But with 2 outs in the inning, Scheringa trying to see if she could get through this jam without allowing a run to cross. A big spot for the freshman pitcher. Neal, who clobbered her 7th home run of the season, will get ready to work here with a chance to add a couple more RBIs. First pitch fouls it off her front foot. Neal with 25 ribbies on the year has the opportunity to add to that by a few more, but is behind in the count 0-1. But what a spot here if Scheringa can escape with the count 0-1. She looks to the plate, delivers. It's low, the count goes 1-1, and then for Neal, you could really crank up the pressure on an underclassman pitcher if you could deliver, reach base, drive in a couple runs. Crown Point leads 6-4 here in the last of the 4th inning. The 1-1 pitch just gets the inner third for a strike. We go 1-2. So Neal will have to get defensive against Scheringa. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Just misses at the lower corner. Evens the count up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. A good take by Neal. Now we wait for the breakthrough delivery. Scheringa winds and fires. Neal lifts it towards the infield, and it will land. It was foul. It is a foul ball. Tricky to read there as everybody was staying away from it and landed foul on the third base line. It was close to the line. It was a bit of a tricky play for Colvin, the catcher, and Scheringa, the pitcher, to get to. And fortunately for them, it was foul. Now the count remains 2-2. The pitch from Scheringa. It's upstairs for a ball, so the count 3-2. And now in danger of walking Neal. Scheringa knows there's nowhere to put her with a runner at first, second, and third, so trying to avoid walking in a run. But head start time for everybody else with the count full and 2 away. The pitch. It hits her. Neal is hit by a pitch with the bases loaded. She will drive in a run. Johnston crosses the plate to make it a 7-4 lead for the Bulldogs. Neal adds her 2nd RBI of the game. Everybody else moves up 60 feet. Kita goes to 3rd, Yarbrough to 2nd, and Neal is aboard at 1st. So the second hit batter of this half inning, Scheringa hit Kita and now Neal. So trying to get that command back with the bases still full. And a pinch hitter, Lila Stymack, in to bat. So Lila Stymack batting in place of Chizen in the bottom of the 4th inning. Stymack bats right-handed with the bases full. The first pitch goes to the glove for a strike. Stymack batting 136 on the year with 9 RBIs. Waits for the 0-1 offering from Scheringa. It's inside for a ball to make it a 1-1 count. So Stymack staying away from that one. That could be tough for a pinch hitter when you've been in the dugout cold, trying to get a feel for the pitcher. Now seeing it firsthand in the batter's box. Stymack off the end of the bat towards second base. Collected by Dalig, throws over. And that will end the inning. The Bulldogs get 1 run to score, but leave the maximum as we're through 4. It's Crown Point 7, Illiana Christian 4. You're watching Softball Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Get Pulse technology on your team. Hit a home run with our managed print and copier services, IT and technology solutions, office furniture and design services, office supplies, scoreboards, and AV solutions.
Have you heard? Stratford Manteau was voted Best of the Region 2025 in several categories, including Best Caterer, Deli, Flower Shop, Food and Grocery Delivery, Fried Chicken, place to buy produce, place to buy seafood, loyalty program, and grocery store. We're proud to be recognized by our community, and we're committed to continuing to deliver the variety, value, and convenience you deserve. See for yourself what it means to be the best when you shop at Stratton Mantel.
At the conclusion of tonight's game, we'll name the Boilermakers Local 374 Blue Collar Player of the Game, brought to you by Boilermakers Local 374. Earn while you learn with Boilermakers Local 374. We start the fifth inning here at Cynthia Field with Crown Point leading over Illiana Christian 7-4. It will be Olivia Dowlig batting for the Vikings to start the fifth. She stays away from the first pitch from Gabriel. But our last regular season broadcast of the regular season campaign of 2026, but a busy week looming next week. We'll take a look at some of the sectional matchups as this one carries towards third base, and it squeaks away from the glove of Kita. That will put Dowlig on. She will reach after Kita had to look over the shoulder to try to get it in the glove, and it just pops out of her glove. Dowlig is on base for the second time today, and now Lauren Mish will bat, and that's when the Bulldogs will look to try to bounce back from with the leadoff runner on base, and one of the Vikings' top hitters stepping up to bat in Mish. Mish, a uncharacteristic 0 for 2 so far, can't get to the first pitch from Gabriel, but with her reputation, she can break through despite the strikeout on the ground out earlier. Batting .522 on the year, a team-high 38 RBIs. She's behind in the count 0-1. She pokes that one foul. For Mish, 6 doubles, 6 triples, and 4 home runs. So you have to be careful against her, but Gabriel ahead in the at-bat, no balls and 2 strikes. Dowlig is the runner at first base. Gabriel goes to the plate with the 0-2 pitch. It's outside, and the catcher Chision will look the runner back to first. Count 1-2 to Mish. Gabriel gets ready for the 1-2. Mish off just above the hands is able to play it foul. That was a tough one to get to on a defensive swing, so she wastes the 2-strike look and keeps the at-bat going. Mish playing left field defensively this evening. Looking to make something happen with the bat. Here's the 1-2. It's low. And caught wandering away from first is Dowlig, but she gets back in time. I believe that's now Stymack in at first base, as Dauphin was there originally. But the count even up at 2 balls and 2 strikes as Gabriel goes towards the plate to Mish. Mish elevates it along the third base side, just out of reach of Kita. That was towards the end of the fence, a tough area to get to. Just lands in front of her. Kita was trying to reach in it, and just gets the top of that brick wall below the fence. A real tough location to get to. So the count remains even at 2-2. Mish looking to reach base for the first time in this game. Now Gabriel's 2-2 pitch. Mish drives it past shortstop into left field. Going to third is Dowlig. She will reach safely, and pulling into second base is Mish. And now the Vikings cooking something up here with 2 runners in scoring position and nobody out in the top of the fifth inning. Dowlig advances from first to third. Mish with a single and then going to second on the throw. And now Emmy Jansma works with runners at second and third. No outs. Jansma 2 for 2 with a pair of singles today and a run scored. She jabs another bunt towards the pitcher. The toss to the plate. She's out. The tag applied. So a nice play by the pitcher, Gabriel, to field her position and retire Dalig.
Number 24, Maya Vanderwood.
Ending up at second base on the play is Jansma, but for the Bulldogs, you'll take that. Get the lead runner. Here's Maya Vanderwood batting with 1 out and 2 on. Doesn't go for the first pitch. It's low for a ball. Vanderwood, a 2 RBI double in her last at-bat. That was in the 3rd inning. Her team trails 7-4, but she represents the tying run here in the top half of the 5th inning. Gabriel's pitch. Vanderwood skies it foul towards the baseball field. We'll even the count up at a ball and a strike. But what a play by Gabriel, able to charge in on that bunt from Jansma to get the out at the plate. Here's the 1-0 pitch. A bunt from Vanderwood, but it goes all the way up to the net. And will roll back down to the field, but not what Vanderwood was hoping to do with that attempted bunt, as it went very high in the air and a foul ball. So now the count, a ball and 2 strikes. Unlikely to see an attempted bunt from Vanderwood in this spot. As we get ready for Gabriel's 1-2 delivery. Vanderwood lofts it high in the air, but towards the Bulldog bullpen, where it will land for a long foul ball. Vanderwood, a good swing on that one, but just a little bit early. And so the count remains 1-2. Mish is the runner at third base. Jansma's over at second. There's 1 out in the inning. The pitch from Gabriel towards the plate. It's inside for a ball to even things up at 2-2. Vanderwood playing third base defensively. One of the only upperclassmen in the lineup for Illiana Christian. The junior drives the 2-2 pitch high in the air towards the Bulldog bullpen again, and it lands just beyond the bullpen down the left field line. So a couple of big swings from Vanderwood in this at-bat, but she's been just a bit ahead on both of them, playing them foul towards left field. She'll try to straighten one out here with the count evened up at 2-2. Gabriel fires towards the plate. Vanderwood drops it foul down the left field line. So she's staying alive in this at-bat, but just unable to get one in play. Looking to change that here with 1 away in the top of the 5th inning. Gabriel's breakthrough pitch. Vanderwood lofts it to shallow center field, where Johnston will shuffle over and makes the catch from her shortstop position. So that's the 2nd out in the inning. A fielder's choice at the plate, and then a fly out to short. There are 2 away, and now the catcher Cheyenne Colvin will bat with 2 runners on base, but hope starting to run thin for the Vikings as they're trying to bring those runners home to work their way back in this game, trailing 7-4. The first pitch to Colvin is high for ball 1. Colvin walked in her last at-bat, trying to see if she could reach base a second time. Facing Gabriel, the second pitcher used today by the Bulldogs. Colvin plays it high in the air towards left field, and making the catch is Neal to end the inning. The Vikings threaten, get a couple of runners on, but are unable to bring them to the plate. We are through 4.5. It's Crown Point leading 7-4. You're watching Softball Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Thinking about what to do after high school? Consider a career with Boilermakers Local 374. As a Boilermaker apprentice, you'll earn while you learn. We offer excellent wages and benefits, and as part of our no-cost hands-on apprenticeship program, you'll learn from the best in state-of-the-art training centers and on the job. Become a union Boilermaker and get on your way to a great career. Find out more, visit www.local374.org or call 219-845-1000.
Four Seasons Mechanical proudly serves Northwest Indiana, providing quality, reasonably priced, reliable service. With a quality and comfort guarantee, the professionals at Four Seasons Mechanical offer a wide range of services in heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Whether it's residential or commercial, Four Seasons Mechanical is there 24/7. To find out more, the website is fourseasonsmechanical.com or give them a call at 219-756-7020. Four Seasons Mechanical, your indoor air quality specialists.
Now batting for the Bulldogs, number 8, Stella Dauphin.
At the conclusion of tonight's game, we'll name the Boilermakers Local 374 Blue Collar Player of the Game, brought to you by Boilermakers Local 374. As Dauphin skips this one towards shortstop, Jansma scoops it up, throws to first in time for out number 2. So Dauphin is the first out of the inning. And stay with us after the game. We'll name the proud-to-be Union Play of the Game presented by Ironworkers Local 395. Ironworkers Local 395. Go to ironworkers395.com to start your future as a Union Ironworker. Ava Govert steps in to bat for the Bulldogs. Govert, a walk and a run in this game. The first pitch is outside for a Bulldog team that has won their last 2 wins over LaPorte on Tuesday and Lowell yesterday. It was a group effort in the win over the Red Devils as Govert rolls it along the third baseline towards Vanderwood, who's able to gobble it up, throws to her corner infield counterpart in Bornson for the second out. So 2 pieces of contact, but both on the ground to left-sided infielders, have resulted in groundouts. A ground out to short and a ground out to third. Now Ellis Lavena will bat. But it was a group effort on Wednesday, but a dominant win on Tuesday in a 7-0 win over LaPorte, as the Bulldogs finish up their Duneland schedule with a 11-2 record. The 2 losses against conference opponents were both to Lake Central, who the Bulldogs will very likely see in the sectional round. So that could be an interesting to see if they meet for a third time. Who can get the upper hand there? A big swing by Slovena for a strike. Makes it a 1-2 count. So Slovena down to her last strike. Scheringa goes to the plate. 1-2 just outside, makes it a 2-ball, 2-strike look. But the count knotted up, 2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 outs. The 2-2 is just low, so we'll go full at 3-2. So for Slovena here, trying to see if you can make Scheringa work and reach base here. 3-2, it's inside, and did that get a piece of her? Either way, she'll reach base. That might have got her at the elbow, but she is on, and that will keep the inning going. Brings the top of the order up. Here's Scarlett Tegman, who has scored 2 runs on 2 trips on base. She lined out to left field in her last at-bat, but it was a single and a run scored in the first inning, a walk and a run scored in the second inning. The first pitch from Scheringa. Tegman shows bunt, pulls away as Slovena skips out to a lead at first base. We'll go back. The count 1-0 to Tegman, a batter you always have to be careful against. Scheringa looks for the 1-0. Tegman doesn't go for it, but it spins into the outer third of the zone for a strike. Evens the count up at 1-1. Crown Point leads 7-4 in the bottom of the 5th inning, but they have a chance to potentially add to that with Tegman at the plate. The next pitch is outside for a ball. Tegman, one of the top hitters in the Crown Point lineup, 13 RBIs, but that's part of being the leadoff hitter. She's often starting innings and not batting with runners on bases. Some of her teammates lower in the lineup will, but the 2-1 pitch, she fouls it, but she helps pace the team with 40 hits on the season. as well as 14 walks, so she is frequently on base to help out her friends behind her in the lineup. Fouls that one away, so the count is even with 2 balls and 2 strikes. So for Tegman, it's her last chance. The 2-2 pitch. Another one skips foul towards the on-deck circle. And the count remains 2-2. For the Bulldogs, this will be their regular season finale. Their next action will be in the Class 4A sectional round, Section 1 against Morden. That will be a week from today. The 2-2 bounce towards shortstop. Jansma will go over to second for out number 3. That will end the inning. The Bulldogs get a runner on, can't get her past first base. We are through 5. It's the Bulldogs 7, the Vikings 4. You're watching Softball Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Company's Lantern Man. If you're a contractor, it's my job to make your insurance coverage simple and affordable. Because I know time is money, I'll come to your business. Certificates and bonds are a snap. Wherever you are, whatever business you're in, we've got you covered. As Crowell Company's Lantern Man, I'm your insurance superhero.
Crowell Company's insurance professionals. Highland, Merrillville, and Michigan City.
To keep up with all things Region Sports, be sure to check us out on our social media pages. We are always active on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and at our website at regionsports.com. Celebrating over 25 years, we are proud to still be the only game in town. Top of the 6th inning at Cynthia Field, where Crown Point leads over Illiana Christian 7-4. And this one cracked down between third and short. Donnet starts the inning with a single. So that's a good way for the Vikings, who need runs down to 6 outs remaining, get the leadoff runner on base. That will help try to start a rally here, as we will see a pinch hitter in. This will be the freshman Violet Klomp in to bat in place of Dirks.
Number 25, Violet Klomp.
So trying to make every at-bat count for the Vikings. Klomp in to bat in the top of the 6th inning. With Donnet at first base. Nobody out. So we'll see what Klomp can do here against Gabriel. Gabriel will look to settle in here. She's in for her 3rd inning of work. Took over for Beeson in the 4th inning. Gabriel will wind and fire. A big swing from Klomp, but she can't catch up to that one. Swings over it. Good movement on that pitch by Gabriel to start the count with a strike. Count 0-1. Gabriel's next delivery. Klomp plays it foul towards the Bulldog dugout, so she's behind. No balls and 2 strikes in the count. But a chance here for Klomp to try to make something happen in a pinch hit opportunity with a teammate on base. The 0-2 from Gabriel is outside the throw to first base. Getting back in time is Donnet. Avoiding the tag, as now over at first base, and it's Slavena back there. So she goes from right field to, or no, that's still Steinbeck, pardon me. The 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Klomp couldn't quite get to that one, as it had a good spin going away from the right-handed batter. And that's the first out of the inning. Here's Talia Bornson up to bat. She will bat left-handed against Gabriel. The first pitch, low and away. We go 1-0, so the top of the order on deck following Bornson here. They would love to step up to bat with a runner or two on base. There's one out in the inning. Dunnett started the inning with a single. The 0-1 from Gabriel, off the end of the bat, towards first base, a diving catch made by Stymack, and she will step on first to complete the double play, and that will end the top of the sixth inning. Nicely done by Stymack to turn two. We'll see a quick meeting with the umpire. Did she turn two, or did it land on the turf? We'll step aside, and when we come back, we'll have the verdict. But you're watching Softball Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Earn while you learn from the best hands in the business. The Bricklayers Allied Craft Workers for Indiana, Kentucky Apprenticeship. That's right, this is a paid apprenticeship.
I'm getting an education while learning a trade and getting paid for it.
The thing that surprised me the most about this apprenticeship program is the respect I've received after the proper time and training.
Classes start soon, so apply now. There are training centers throughout Indiana and Kentucky. We are the Bricklayers and Allied Craft Workers for Indiana, Kentucky Apprenticeship. The best hands in the business.
Mayor Pete Land and the Crown Point Pace Department are proud to support Crown Point Athletics and say go Bulldogs. Crown Point remains dedicated to preserving history, celebrating everyday life, and providing the best in city services while encouraging smart growth. The first pitch to Johnson is low for a ball. Visit Bulldog Park on select Saturdays for the Crown Point Farmers Market beginning May 23rd. Purchase wares from 70-plus vendors 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. through September 26th. For more information, visit crownpoint.info/farmersmarket. Johnston checks up on another one, but it was inside for a ball. We go 2-0. Johnston has scored 3 runs in this game, and 2 RBIs as well, so she's responsible for 5 of the 7 runs in this game. The 2-0 outside, so she is in the driver's seat of this at-bat. 3 balls and no strikes. Johnston playing shortstop defensively, bats left-handed against the freshman Shearinga, who was able to fire in a strike to keep the at-bat going, 3-1. But for Johnson, it's been an outstanding night at the plate. We'll see if she can continue it here as she fouls the next pitch to the fence to make it a full count at 3-2. She singled in the first and would score, had a 2 RBI double in the second, also scored, and then reached on an error in the fourth and scored on that one, or in that inning. So it's been a productive day for the Bulldog shortstop. Here's the payoff pitch from Shearinga. It is inside for ball 4, so you could put Johnston on base for the 4th time in this game. And now Ashlyn Kita will step in to bat. Kita will bat with a runner at first and nobody out. Kita also reached base a couple of times today. She had an RBI double in the second and was hit by a pitch in the fourth. She skips one along the third base line. It is foul. It was foul. A good play made by Vandervood to dig it up and throw over to second, but it was a foul ball, so everybody has to go back to their original starting points. Kita back to the plate, Johnston back to first. Well, the Vikings very well could have turned 2, almost a little bit wishing that it was fair. The 0-1, Kita. This time it will be fair, but it gets past and rolls into left field. So Kita delivers her second base hit of the day, advances Johnston to second, and that's just a tough break for the Vikings as they were well positioned to turn a double play on a play that was just foul, and then on the very next pitch it results in a single. That's the way it goes sometimes, but now Yarbrough will bat with 2 on and nobody out. Amaria Yarbrough batting in place of Cuevas, and that pitch is inside, gets her at the helmet. And she will take her base after that one. The third hit batter of the day for Scheringa, so she's trying to find her command a little bit here. And Anna Neal will step in the bat with nobody out and the bases loaded. Neal takes the first pitch foul into left field, so it's 0-1. Neal had one of the biggest swings of the game with a solo home run in the first inning, then followed it up with a ground out and an RBI hit by pitch when she was up to bat with the bases loaded in the fourth inning and helped bring in a run. The bases are full again. Neal, a check swing, and it's foul, so she's behind 0-2 with Yarbrough at first base, Kita at third, and Johnston at short. In the last of the sixth inning, the Bulldogs lead 7-4, but could further distance themselves from the Vikings here. Neal sends it along the third base line. Throwing to the plate for one out is Vanderwood. Did she step on third as well? So she did. So it's a double play, a 5-2 double play from Vanderwood to Colvin. Now there are two down in the inning, and the batter will be Lila Stymack. Neal reaches base on that fielder's choice. Yarbrough goes to second, but Kita and Johnston are both out. And fouling one to the screen is Stymack. But a good heads-up play by Vanderwood to step on third base for the force out and then throw to the plate to her catcher, Colvin, to retire Johnston. Two outs with one swing in the bat. Nobody has scored in this inning. There are runners at first and second. The next pitch to Stymack is outside. The count will even at 1-1. Stymack fouled one to the fence, then stays away from the next pitch as it was outside. Stymack batted in place of Chisholm in her last look, grounded out to second. It's actually interesting. Both Chisholm and Stymack, in 3 at-bats out of this spot, there have been 3 groundouts to second base. The exact same result all 3 times. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Inside to make it a 2-2 count. Chisholm batting originally of the 6th spot in the first inning, and then Chisholm batted in the first and third. Stymack now in the 4th and the 6th inning, fouls away another. But we've seen a few replacement players brought in for the Bulldogs. Yarbrough over at second base, and now Stymack at the plate. Kind of one of those luxuries you can afford with a lead at this point in the game. Get some other players in and a deep bench. The 3-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. That will end the inning. The Bulldogs threaten, but some good defense from the Vikings prevents them from scoring. We will head to the 7th inning. Last at-bats for the Vikings, trailing 7-4. You're watching Softball Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
IBEW Local 697 isn't just wiring buildings. We're woven into the very fabric of Northwest Indiana. We're your neighbors. Our kids go to school with yours. We stand in the same bleachers cheering for the same high school teams. When you hire a union electrician, you're not just getting the highest quality work. You're supporting our community. IBEW Local 697, proudly powering our own.
Sometimes the hardest part of improving your business isn't coming up with a great idea. It's knowing what to do with it. Chester Inc. Architectural and Construction Services is ready to meet all your industrial and commercial construction needs. Whether it's a small build-out or a complete construction project, Chester will design, build, and finance. Our team eliminates multiple contractors, providing you a single point of contact while staying within your budget. Chester Inc. Architectural and Construction Services, turning your ideas into realities.
Paige Lazert is in for the Bulldogs. That means we'll turn to the Enigenberg Exteriors Home Improvement Hurlers. Crown Point brings in the senior right-hander Lazert. Let's take a look at her stats as she has been having an outstanding senior year. Lizert is an impressive 16-1 on the season with a .73 ERA. Over 115 and a third innings pitched, 52 hits against, 20 runs, 12 earned, 20 walks to 221 strikeouts. Again, one of the top pitchers in the state, Lizert. The Enigenberg Exteriors Home Improvement Hurlers, your all-in-one roofing specialist. Visit ebergexteriors.com for a quote. The first pitch from Lizert is a ball to Krakis. So we'll tally up the stats on Gabriel. She went 3 innings with 2 hits against. This one knocked foul by Krakis. So Gabriel went the 4th, 5th, and 6th innings. Now it's up to Lizert in the 7th. No walks for Gabriel. That's certainly impressive. A couple of strikeouts. This one played towards first base. The toss over to Govert, who rolls over to cover, is in time. So a 3-4 put out, a ground out by Krakis for out number 1.
Olivia Deleggy.
So now Olivia Deleggy will bat with 1 out, nobody on, and her team trailing 7-4. Beeson started the day for Crown Point. Gabriel would follow with 3 innings. Did not allow a run on just 2 hits and 2 strikeouts. So a good day by Gabriel, and now Lizert will look to finish the job. Lizert threw a no-hitter against LaPorte on Tuesday. She has thrown 2 no-hitters this season in a perfect game. So really a fantastic senior year as the count 0-1 to Dowleague. She pitched the last 2 days and will now look to close this one out. As the Bulldogs have won their last 2, she gets Dowleague to wave over the 0-1 pitch. It's now 0-2. With 2 strikes in the count, Lizert goes to the plate. It's outside. And we talked about the numbers. 221 strikeouts on the year. That really helps out the rest of the defense when you got a pitcher that can miss a lot of bats. The 1-2, swing and a miss for the strikeout. And for Lizert, that's strikeout number 222. And now there are 2 outs of the season, of the 2 outs in the inning. 222 strikeouts in the season, 2 outs in the inning. And Lauren Misch will be the last hope for the Vikings, batting with 2 down, nobody on base, and her team trailing by 3. The Vikings will be back in action against Munster this weekend, while the Bulldogs, this is their last game of the regular season. Misch goes after the first pitch from Lizert, but can't catch up to it for a strike. Crown Point's next action will be against Morden in the first round of the sectional round. The 0-1. Misch can't catch up to the fastball from Lizert. She's behind 0-2. So now it is the last chance for Misch as she, no balls and 2 strikes in the count with 2 batters out. We'll see what she can do here. The 0-2 delivery from Lizert. Poke towards second base. It will get past Govert, rolls into center field. A 2-out single from Misch keeps the Vikings alive. For Misch, that is her second base hit of the ball game.
Now batting number 22, Emmy Jansma.
And we'll see Emmy Jansma stepping into bat. Jansma trying to deliver here. She has reached base 3 times in the game. 2 singles and a fielder's choice. The senior right-hander Lizert goes to the plate. Jansma shows bunt again, but it was over that one, but he was able to get the bat away in time. It's a 1-0 count. A fastball going inside. Jansma had to get away from it. Now she gets ready for the 1-0 pitch. Couldn't get to that one as it was towards the outer third, so the count a ball and a strike to Jansma. With Misch at first base, Jansma at the plate. The Vikings trying to deliver here with 2 outs. They had a big 2-out rally in the 3rd inning to score 2 runs, but now Jansma down to her last strike. 1-2 in the count. And we'll see what she can do here. Lazert speeds one to the plate for strike 3. She catches Jansma looking. Now that will end the game. Lazert nails it down. The Bulldogs win 7-4 to improve to 22-5-1 on the season, defeating a non-conference opponent in Illiana Christian, who falls to 16-8. So the Bulldogs will be back in their next game in the sectional opener. The Vikings will be back against Munster. We will step aside briefly to hand out some post-game awards, but again, Crown Point defeats Illiana Christian 7-4. You're watching Softball Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
With electrical services from Economy Electric Heating and Cooling, you can radiate the perfect amount of light and energy into your home. From rewiring and code upgrades to ceiling fans, lighting, security, and more, Economy Electric Heating and Cooling's trained electricians will make sure you can enjoy your home on full power all the time. For a free estimate on electrical work, call Economy Electric Heating and Cooling at 219-923-4441, and you can visit them on the web at 4ajobdoneright.com. That's the number 4ajobdoneright.com.
You ready? Let's go! Yeah. For those of you that want to know what we're all about, it's like this, y'all. This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to remember the name.
Your future starts
here.
If not, I'll find something. Back wrapping things up here at Cynthia Field, where Crown Point defeats Illiana Christian 7-4, win number 22 on the season for the Bulldogs. So let's hand out some of the post-game accolades. It's time to name the Crowell Companies Lantern Man Superhero of the game. Crowell Companies have offices open from 9 o'clock to 7 o'clock Monday through Friday and Saturdays until 2 o'clock in Highland, Merrillville, and Michigan City. The Crowell Companies Lantern Man Superhero of the game tonight was from the Crown Point Bulldogs. It will be their shortstop, Lulu Johnston, who reached base 4 times in this game, scored 3 runs, and drove in 2 runs. So if the math adds up correctly, she accounted for 5 of the 7 runs, scoring 3 and driving in 2, with a single in the first inning, a 2 RBI double in the second, reached on an error in the 4th inning. She scored on all 3 of those looks and then walked in the 6th inning. So Johnston is the superhero of the game. And now for the it's time to name the blue-collar player of the game, brought to you by Boilermakers Local 374. Boilermakers Local 374. Learn about apprenticeship programs and more at local374.org. We will go with, for the blue-collar player of the game, it will be from the Illiana Christian Vikings. We will go with Lauren Krakis, who set the tone for Illiana Christian with 2 runs scored, a walk and a single, and a couple of nice plays in center field. So Krakis picks up the blue-collar player of the game for her efforts, scoring 2 of the 4 runs for the Vikings. Now it's time to name the proud-to-be Union Play of the Game, presented by Ironworkers Local 395. Ironworkers Local 395. Go to ironworkers395.com to start your future as a union ironworker. And tonight's Ironworkers 395 Play of the Game was, we'll wind it back to the top half of the 6th inning when Talia Bornson was up to bat. She lined out into a double play at first base. Normally, third base is the hot corner, but Lila Stymek had her work cut out for her on this play, was able to make the catch at first, and then stepped on the cushion for the second out, so turned 2 with one big play to take away a threatening spot from the Vikings. So that was tonight's Ironworkers 395 Play of the Game, presented by Ironworkers Local 395, Union Strong. Now time to thank everyone involved with this evening's broadcast, to our management team at Region Sports, led by executive producer Chris Ramirez, as well as Rich Castillo, Zach Miller, and Mike Dewan, to our producer Zach Zanelli, doing a great job keeping everything running smooth here, and to Aaron Svetlin capturing all the action on the camera. There certainly was a lot of action tonight with the Bulldogs winning 7-4. And a special thanks to the coaches, Mark Porter of Illiana Christian and Angie Rich-Walski from Crown Point. To the athletic directors, Darren DeBoer from Illiana Christian and Bill DeRolla from Crown Point, and to the viewers across all of our platforms, the IHSAA Champions Network, regionsports.com, YouTube/RegionSports, Facebook/Region Sports Nation. This is Leo Staudaher thanking you for watching Softball Night on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Tonight's broadcast is made possible by Strack & Van Til, your favorite Indiana-made grocery store. Crowell Insurance Company, the insurance superheroes. Ironworkers Local 395, proud to be union. Four Seasons Mechanical, quality and comfort is our guarantee. Boilermakers Local 374, earn while you learn. Pulse Technology, leading the way in technological innovation for over 70 years. Visit Michigan City LaPorte, closer than you think, better than you imagine. IBEW Local 697, proud to support high school sports. Bricklayers Local 4, the best hands in the business. Economy Electric Heating and Cooling, keeping you cool in the summer and cozy in the winter. Mark Macknick, Chicagoland Tax Professionals. Blythe's Team Sports, where the athlete shops. And Hampton Inn, downtown Indianapolis. This is the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.